Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alison, the online piano and the online violin tutor. So in today's video I'm going to be doing a comparison of these three violins that you see. So this one is the Tower Strings. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alison, the online piano and the online violin tutor. In today's video I'm going to be doing a comparison of the three Tower Strings violins that I've been sent from the Fiddlerman. So we've got the Tower Strings Entertainer, we've got the Tower Strings Rockstar, and then just behind me here we've got the Tower Strings Legend. I've just got it on a stand because obviously I haven't got a third hand, but we're going to be having a look at these three violins because these are the three that I've been sent in the set. Now we start off with the Entertainer as being the lower of the three, if you like. Then you've got the Rockstar as being the middle one, and then you've got the Legend here to my left that is going to be the third one. So these three differ in price. You've got the Entertainer, which is $229.99, which is around about £167. You've got the Rockstar, which is $269.99, that's £196. And then you've got the Legend here at the back, which is $329.99, which is around about £240. So you've got £100 difference between this one, which is the first one in the series, and the Legend, which is $329 or $330 for all intents and purposes. And then you've got this one that sits here at $270, kind of more or less slap bang in the middle. So the main visual difference is that the Entertainer is a satin look, and I do believe off the top of my head it is aged 24 months for the wood. This one is the same as the Legend to the side of me. This one, the Rockstar, is a kind of varnish kind of look to it as well, so it's a little bit more of a shinier look. Some people prefer that over the satin, but you know, it's just horses for courses really. Looks never really bother me because it's all in the sound and it's all in the wood, regardless of kind of, you know, what it looks like. My antique one, for example, is kind of, it's not quite satin, it's not quite glossy, it has a hand varnish to it, so it has a very different look to it, but mine is probably the closest to this kind of look. So again, I don't really care what it looks like because I bought it for the sound of it. They've all got a really nice finish to them, so you know, they don't look sloppy in any way. There's nothing kind of nasty going on about them. You know, they look really nice. You know, they look really clean, and yeah, they just look really nice. So I'm, you know, I'd be happy to get one of these, and I wouldn't be looking at that thinking, you know, it's a bit of a ropey old finish. There's none of that. So as I said, this one's got 24 months aged wood. This one is 36, I do believe, off the top of my head, and then the Legend here is 48 months. So when I was doing the individual reviews of these, which will be linked underneath this video, I was definitely noticing that there is a difference in the sound maturity. Now, in my personal opinion, I think these all sort of sound the same. They've all got the same kind of flavour. So I guess you could say they all come from the same family, if you like. So they all sound very rich, very deep, very dark, and very velvety. I wouldn't describe these as being bright instruments, but that's my personal opinion. That's how my ears perceive these sounds of the violin. Some people might disagree, but to me, I wouldn't say these sound very, very bright or very top end. I'd say these are best in the lower ends, and you can hear that in the demonstrations, and you can hear that in the individual performances as well. So I will put a comparison at the end, towards the end of this video, where you can hear all three of them kind of going through playing the same song as I normally do with all of my Fiddlerman violin reviews, so that you can hear what each one sounds like right next door to each other, which I think is really, really helpful as well. So considering you've got $100 difference between the Entertainer and the Legend here, I do feel that there is a difference there, but if that $100 is too much for you, then you know, that's where this comes in. So saying that I describe these as being quite dark, quite velvety, and quite kind of deep sounding, almost dare I say it, kind of viola-y. They're not viola-y, but I would say they are definitely They are definitely best in the lower register than they are in the higher register, but they still have a lot of power in the higher register. They're just not as bright or as sweet or as open sounding, for example. And that's kind of depending on sort of what you like. But for sort of your lower end, not so much budget violins, but just for your entry level violins, these, I'm surprised, honestly, that these do have a flavour to them. Usually when you get the cheaper end violins, or you get the more kind of budget friendly, lower end, entry level violins, they don't really have any sound at all to them. So they don't really sound, they don't sound bright, they don't sound dark, they don't sound deep, they don't sound anything. They just, I end up just complaining about them because they just sound nasally and just horrible, and I can't find anything nice to say about them. But these ones, pleasantly, surprisingly, they are really, really nice in the lower registers, not quite so nice in the higher register, but you've got to look at how much money you're spending. If you want something that plays really well in the upper registers, really well in the lower registers, then you're obviously looking at spending a lot of money. But the point about these is that they all come playable out the box, and honestly, I've got nothing but good things to say about them, and I was genuinely surprised at really the quality and how good they are. I wasn't really expecting much out of them, and I was expecting to struggle a bit, especially when I do the demonstrations, but I had none of that, and I would be more than happy to recommend any of these. So the burning question, what's the difference between them? So this one I would probably describe as the young son in the family. This one I would describe as the teenage son, and then the Legend I would describe as the father. Now, I kind of put great importance on the fact that I think this is aged 24 months, this is wood aged 36, and that one is wood aged 48. And you really can hear the difference, because I feel like this is just nowhere near as mature sounding as that one, as the Legend. So the Entertainer is still a great violin, don't get me wrong, it still has a really good, strong, powerful sound, as you will hear, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But when you're comparing this to this, the Rockstar, and then the Rockstar to the Legend, and you hear them back to back, then I think you're gonna hear the difference, and I think you're gonna understand a little bit more what I mean. It is very difficult in those recordings to really give you a true representation of sound, because I know a lot of people comment underneath these videos, and when I've done them in the past, and say that they can't really hear any difference, and some of you can, and I do try my best to use the best kind of sound equipment to get that across to you, but I guess you'll just have to trust my opinion when I say that this is, it does definitely go up in levels of maturity. So this would be the youngest son in the family, this would be the teenage son, and that would definitely be the father, because it is going up in sound maturity. But they all come from the same family in terms of tone, so they're all really nice and deep. This one is particularly smooth. I'd say that this one, which is the Rockstar, probably plays a little smoother to me than the Entertainer, but then this is another $30 odd more to buy this one than it is this one. So again, as an entry level, this is fine. They're all fine right off the bat. You don't have to waste time tuning them with the pegs. The bridges are all pretty much the same on all of them. So you've got that straight out of the bat. So if you didn't have that $30, or you wanted to spend that $30 on maybe getting some rosin, or maybe upgrading the strings, or something else that you wanted to treat yourself to, or you could, even with the extra $30 and maybe just a little bit more, treat yourself to my 1 to 30 violin course, which is right here, that I've talked about many times in all my videos, but it guarantees to take you from a complete beginner to a very accomplished intermediate level. So if you wanted to spend the extra money on that, you know where it's at. But other than that, you want a little bit more, then you've got this one. If you want to spend the extra pennies on getting something a bit better, then you've got the Legend that you've got going here. And if you really want to treat yourself and be a bit extra, you can get the Legend, and you can get my 1 to 30 violin course, and you're looking at all that for under $400. Boom, what could be better? That's about all I have to say on these, really, to compare them. You'll hear more what I'm talking about when I play those demos to you, but I'm going to leave you with the demonstrations back to back so you can hear all three of these played side by side, and then you can make your decisions yourself. If you've got any questions or you've got any comments regarding any of these violins, you need a little bit of help, put them in the comments underneath this video and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. If I don't know the answer, then I'll pass it on to the fiddler man and maybe he can help you, or you can contact him with a little bit more if you need a little bit more information on the violins.